Welcome, welcome, relatable people, to The Chop, Season 13, Episode 1. Tonight we're going to tear this episode to shreds because it's, there has been a couple of things that are very interesting to look at. Now, before we begin, who do we have in the chat? Mrs. G, Diogo, Corinne, Dixie, Sasha, Melanie, Lena Clark, and Lisbeth. Welcome, everybody. So, what an interesting episode was it, wasn't it? I would call it the baiting of Rosé, but we're going to see a little bit later. Let's start with the intro.
She looks metallic. Metallic, metallic, metallic.
Though I can't quite recall of the night's sensation.
And here we are. Now, before we begin, Happy New Year. It's 2021. Finally, we left that fucked up 2020 behind with everything that happened. And worst of all, an overloading of Drag Race. God damn it, there has been so much Drag Race. Drag Race UK, Canada, Spain, Holland. Drag Race UK is premiering in 2 weeks. Concurrent to this season, and Drag Race Australia also started filming, which is fantastic. I mean, how can you follow all of this? It's getting completely crazy. If it goes on like this, brace yourselves, because next year we're probably going to have something like Drag Race Vatican City. This is going to be my favorite show next year. And I know what you're thinking. It's disrespectful. It's blasphemy. Yes, it's all of that and so much more. And if you cannot imagine it, well, you're in complete luck because I imagined it for you.
My name is
Benedict
Edwards. I'm known as the Vanessa Williams of
Vatican City
because after winning the title,
Pope.
the crown was taken away from me. And then walks in
Pope Francis.
the face crack of the century.
Oh my God!
Pope Francis, your runway was a cardinal sin, but your encyclicas left us praying for more. Congratulations, you're the winner of this week's challenge. Ooh, dear God. That's what an overload of Drag Race looks like. That's exactly that. Don't forget that. Don't let anybody let you forget that. Oh, and by the way, Pope Francis, thank you so much for raising the age of consent in Vatican City from fucking 12 to 18. It was fucking time. And now that we have that out of the way, let's go back to the episode and be real nice about it. So, this season is all about shock value. So, we begin the episode with 6 lip syncs. Six lip syncs. And a 3-way lip sync, which I don't know if it was an ode to Derek Barry or what. Rumor has it that there used to be a 14th girl, but they found out that she did something similar to Sherry Pie, so they gave her the chop before the season even began. Can we confirm this? Of course not. We cannot confirm anything. We are not asserting anything. This is all my opinions and my thoughts and my idiocy, and that's basically it. So, 6 lip syncs, and 6 queens will go home. Can you imagine it? Nobody bought it. Absolutely nobody bought it. You're not going to take away half of the cast in the first episode. Come on. It's completely idiotic. It's more idiotic to think that we would believe it. But you know what's the gag in all of this? It's this tweet. Somebody tagged me on Twitter and they sent this. RuPaul's Drag Race. So there's a viewer out there who kept an eye on the confessional and said, what the fuck? You gotta pull this shit on episode 1. At least make me believe. Make me believe. Try. At least try. No, they didn't even try. So this is the gag of the season. And I'm absolutely proud of it. I mean, when you have viewers out there that start catching this kind of shit, maybe they will stop doing it. And you know why? Because putting words in other people's mouth, even though it's their own words, but they are completely out of context. It's a despicable way of doing a show. It's a stupid way of doing a show, and it's a talentless way of doing a show. I understand drama, and I like drama on the show. I like it. I'm not saying that I don't like it. But if you are talented enough, you can make drama about everything. You just need the talent to back it up. And if you don't believe me, try to read any kind of manga out there. There is full of the stupidest thing that are presented in the most dramatic way possible, and you completely buy into it. What you need is talent. Money to buy the talent, and time. But, you know, they filmed this in July, August, so they have all the time to work properly. So, fuck you, fuck your double confessionals, fuck putting words in their mouth, and most of all, fuck you for staying silent when the general public ripped these queens to shreds because of the way you portrayed them. Now that we have that out of the way, do we have somebody new on the chat? RV, welcome. You came just at the right time when I've been at my absolute worst. So, let's go on. So, we are supposed to believe that they all go home. Oh, but wait, no, they don't go home. By the end of the episode, the loser queens who are there by absolute chance. I swear it, they are there by chance. They were chosen by chance. They lost because they were absolutely the worst, and now they are there. And now they have to choose who is going to go home. But we're not going to find out, because if you want to find out, well, tune in next episode, and you will find out next week. My God, I miss off-season. I miss off-season so much. So, you have to understand, I have a list of the things that I want to say to keep track, you know, so that I can manage the image, I can manage what I'm saying, I can manage looking at the chat, and I'm not fucking looking at my list. I'm just going with the flow. Because you have to understand, I should be sleeping right now, but I'm not. I had like 3 Red Bulls in the last 1 hour and a half, so I'm completely high as a kite. So let's try to calm down, and let's try to go the fuck where we were going. What I was saying. Oh yeah, shock value, shocker, they're not going home, shocker. Oh my God, I need a moment. I need a little bit more Red Bull. Wait a moment. Okay, where are we? Yes, double confessionals. Okay, so let's go a moment in this thing of the double confessionals. Basically, what I noticed is that a ton of queens had double confessionals. Now, why did I notice? Because I said to myself, you know what? For this, this is the 3rd season of the Chop that we do. So to celebrate, I thought, why not track all of the confessionals so that we can spot everything that is going on? Little did I know that doing this would completely swallow my Saturday, my Sunday, and leave me completely fucked up for the stream. So I will try to keep this up as much as I can, but I don't make any promise. But I have them for this stream. So a ton of queens at double confessionals. We have Candy, and if you look in the right picture, her beard is very well shaved, the illumination is different, and the hair on his chest is completely shaved. That's right, because they put a cap on them, they gave them shirts that looks like they are ironed this season. That's a nice surprise, since what we saw happening to Widow last season. So Iron my entertainer shirt, you bitch, if you want to swap up what she's saying. So it's going to be very difficult to find out what the hell is going on. Lucky for us, all gay people shave, and so we can count the ingrown hair on their chest and on their faces. And by charting, I mean no disrespect by that. So by charting the evolution of the pimples, we will be able to distinguish the fucking confessionals. This is what this show has become. Charting pimples. So we have double confessionals from Candy. We have, I think, double confessionals from Olivia. Olivia has perfect skin, so we are going to be chart the evolution of the folds in her hat. That's what we're going to do for Olivia. Then we have Rosé, who is sporting an incredible haircut that it's impossible to make it look the same in every confessionals. And she has also a little bit of a rash. So if again, I mean, no disrespect. So if at some point she's able to put her hair always in the same position, then we can chart that. Then what do we have? We have Tina. Tina will be charting pimples for Tina. And also we have a different illumination, and we have a different, what is it, a clip on her right shoulder. But anyway, Tina has a double confessional as well. Who else has a double confessional? Elliot. Elliot, if you look at the pimple on the I would say on the chin, in the center of the chin, it disappears in the picture of the right. I swear, this is getting absolutely ridiculous. Do you see what I have to do? This is becoming impossible, but we are going to do it. We are going to do it, and we're going to call them out on this shit. Time after time after time. And let's hope that the queens do not discover steroid creams. Also, the eyebrows are different. Now, why the hell do we have so many double confessionals in episode 1? And all of these confessionals, I listened to what they said, and it was absolutely 100% related to this episode. So what the hell happened? Well, there are two possible explanations. Number one is that they filmed 2 confessionals. That was the normal thing that they did for this episode. They had 1 confessional filmed before the entrance and 1 confessional filmed after the episode was over. This is a possibility. Do I think that is likely? Absolutely not, because I'm a shady bitch, so I don't want to believe it. Even if it's true, I want to live in my fantasy and believe that they had a major fuck up in the storyboarding for the whole season. What do I mean by that? I mean that they filmed everything, then they started editing, and then they realized, wait a moment, we cannot push the storylines. Maybe because they don't have enough materials, or because it's not convincing enough, or because they sent it to VH1 and VH1 said, oh no, we don't like this. Change it. It's not working. So they had to change it. And in order to change it, they had to refilm confessionals. This is what I believe. And why am I so convinced about it? Well, that's because there are some queens who have very ambivalent edits. This is not something that is usual for World of Wonder, to have such ambivalent edits. So it looks like they started with an edit, then they had a course correction, they refilmed the confessionals, and then went back to the episode, but they were lazy about it. Maybe they were out of time, so they left some things that were supposed to make somebody look worse, but then they added other things to make them look better in a way, or the opposite. This is what it looks to me. Now, what did they fuck up? That's the $1 million questions. I accept suggestions in the chat. I'm keeping an eye on in the chat. I didn't forget about you. So, what do I think happened? Where is my list? I lost my point. Oh, wait, no, I'll tell you later what I thought happening. I have to tell you later. Sorry, I got distracted for a moment. Shit. Tonight it's not going to work. Okay, so let's jump to the damn episode. So we have. Oh, by the way, hi Timothy and hi Mystic from the chat. So the first couple that we have. Oh, wait a moment. I lost something. I wanted to say something. Well, we can talk about it later. Doesn't matter. The first couple that we have is Candy Muse and Joy J. And we have a ton of time dedicated to Candy Muse. And don't forget, when we did the prelude to the Chop, she was the queen that we chose. Well, we nominated to have the season-long villain edit. Because, face it, she is the perfect villain, at least from World of Wonder's point of view. Because she's a queen of color, and she's a big queen, and she's an outspoken queen. Ooh, the Magic 3, the perfect villain. Will she be a villain? Well, by the end of this episode, I will show you how I changed my mind about it, and I will show you why. But we have a ton of time dedicated to Candy. Now, what is Candy doing in her entrance? Well, she's kind of shitting on a big old secret. And the big old secret is that she's shitting on Aja and the House of Aja. To which Aja already responded on Twitter. And they started a little bit of a feud or something, which is, I can grant you. It's not a publicity stunt. It's absolutely not. When did social media drama ever been about, keep being popular and stay in the eye? And that's the reason why we don't deal with drama on this channel, especially social media drama. Now, if there is something there, we will definitely talk about it. And we will talk about controversial situation, and we will talk about behind the scenes, and we will do all of that. This bullshit that goes on, no thank you. We have better things to do. We are more classy people, if you know what I mean. So, where are we? Candy and Joy. Now, Candy and Joy. Where am I? Here we go. The interaction between the two was kind of cute. The editing for both of them seemed really good for both of them, which is absolutely the opposite of what we thought it was going to be for Candy. Because remember, in the world of reality TV, first impression is the one that counts. So when Candy doesn't come out at all as a villain, that means that really points in a totally different direction. Why am I saying that? Well, because she said a lot of shit in the first 10 minutes, and they could have done everything they wanted to make her look bad. Instead, they made her look like she was just, stating her opinion, telling about a fact. Nothing too fancy, nothing too shady, just the way it is. So, we're going to see about what happens with this. But with these two queens, I didn't notice anything at all. Now, before we go on with talking about the other queens, this is what I had to tell you before, but I completely forgot. Let's not forget that the producers decided the queens that lip sync one against each other. They decided the order of the entrance, and also they decided who was going to win and who was going to lose. Because let's face it, during the lip syncs, unless something major happens, like when Valentina didn't know the words, they can edit it to make it look as whoever they want to win officially won. This is what they can do. So they basically decided everything. Why did they do this? Oh, that's the million-dollar questions, which of course we are going to answer. It's to trigger queens, put them under pressure. Put them in a bad headspace so that somebody will snap, because that's the name of the game. Make them snap. And once they snap, you start riding that wave. And that's the perfect recipe for a villain. And let's not forget that they also know who they have the better probability to make snap. Because they have a psychological evaluation. They evaluated all of them before coming to the show. And let me tell you, when they do this psychological evaluation, they say that it's to make sure that the contestants will be healthy in isolation, that they are not in danger, a danger for themselves, a danger for others, and many, many other things. In reality, behind the scenes, what really happens is that they use those data to kind of typecasting queens. And based on that, they create the storyboard. So let's not forget all of this, because nothing that you see in this episode happened by chance at all. So moving on to the next couple, we have Denali and Lala. Now, while Lala has kind of a favorable edit with nothing major happening there, the interaction between the two is absolutely non-existent. The only thing that we see is Denali shading Lala. And keep an eye on Denali, because she got a ton of shady noises, a ton of them. And on the main stage, when you have that moment, when you see the judges that are basically asking questions, you know, who are you, how does this dress represent your drug, and so on, those moments can go up for 15 minutes. That's what I think, 10-15 minutes. And you have to imagine, when the panel of judges is talking to one queen and you are the other queen and you are there waiting in high heels for 10-15 minutes, the cameras are bound to catch you bitch facing, you know, with a bored face or in your thoughts, but certainly you're not smiling like a psycho for 15 minutes straight while nobody's talking to you. So this is the kind of moment that we keep an eye on. Because depending on what they decide to show us, we know the kind of edit and storyline they're going to give to these queens. And little did you know, Denali was bitch-facing Lala while Lala was introducing herself to the judges. This is what we were shown. So let's keep an eye on that. Another thing that I want to say about the lip sync is that from my point of view, based solely on the fact that Denali was absolutely not dressed for a lip sync, she absolutely killed it. Have you seen that stage? It's slippery. Do you see what she has instead of shoes? Well, I don't know the name in English. That's why I'm going around it. the ice blades. How the fuck are they called? Well, she lip synced in that. And she didn't fall, because trust me, they would have shown it with the edit that she got if she did fall, and she didn't. And based on that, and that alone, and that little that I saw, I would say that Denali won. But guess what? She was put in the bottom, up for elimination. And remember, somebody needs to get triggered. The show needs its villain. Anthony, ice skates. Thank you. Max Rollins, thank you. Thank you for teaching me English. Thank you. Melanie. So keep an eye on Denali. We're going to discuss this later when we do speculation. Now, we do not do spoilers on this channel, and I would appreciate if nobody would do spoilers or try to do spoilers. But due to the fact that we are tracing confessionals, we have some sort of spoilers. So when that moment comes, I will give you an alert before so that you can say goodbye or come back later. Okay, that's just so you know. Now, let's move on to the show. Next couple, Simone and Tamisha. Now, both had a pretty good edit, a pretty favorable edit, a pretty realistic edit. We actually had a moment to make them interact with each other. We saw a confessional in which Simone could have been portrayed as insulting Tamisha, but she was not. She was not. So that was an editing choice, and let's keep that in mind as well. Tamisha is also the first queen who gets to show who had a picture of her family edited into her intro. So let's keep that in mind, because almost no other queens had something like this, but she had one picture. Does it mean something? I don't know, but let's keep that in mind. Now, apart from that, both had a very good edit. Tamisha even had to yes, because they asked her. She shared her story on the main stage, which is really good, because, you know, when these things comes out immediately instead of I don't know, like in episode 5 when somebody has to lip sync, it kind of feels manipulative. But coming clean just at episode 1, I liked it very much. My partner not much, but I did. So I think Simone had the slightly better edit of the two, but other than that, nothing to say about this two. Moving on to the next couple, which is the most interesting one, because we have Gottmik and Utica. Now, when we did the pre-show on Tuesday, I talked a ton of time about Gottmik. And little did you know, she had an incredible edit for the whole show. Now, why am I pushing so much of Gottmik? Well, she is young, she is talented, and she is... how can I say, an infinite source of woke points for World of Wonder. And they do need to save face, both World of Wonder, but especially VH1, because the Viacom CBS company is not doing good. Not at all. Nobody is subscribing to CBS All Access. Nobody. So they're even going to change the name of that streaming platform because it's not working. And having a main show like Drag Race on a network like VH1, which let's face it, it's a cow to be milked. So they need to score this woke points. Why do they need that? Well, Gigi Goode last year was a complete disaster. Everybody clocked their hero headed. Everybody called them out on Twitter, which is incredible. It's incredible that people that, you know, not people like us who literally tear this show to shreds, but, you know, casual viewers would feel how much that headed was pushed and pushed and pushed. And they pushed back. They didn't vote for Gigi when they asked who they wanted to win. But nobody could have predicted the PR catastrophe that happened later with Gigi Goode saying she cannot breathe. And then she was political. And then she was not political. And you know what happened. And then she was meeting with other people while there was a lockdown. And VH1 was continuously pushing the Alone Together campaign. You know, there was stay at home everywhere on VH1. And they had their runner-up on one of their most famous show going out and taking pictures with friends. It was, my God, it was, we are going to have a documentary about it soon, I promise, because it was too good to pass on. But long story short, they fucked up their image. And these companies are businesses. And part of doing business is having a good image, because otherwise you don't make money. So they need to save that damn face. And Gottmik is the perfect candidate. Can you imagine headlines anywhere? Everywhere. Gottmik, first trans man, operated trans man to ever appear on the show. It's everywhere, and that's what they're looking for. They're looking for publicity, and not just any publicity, they're looking for good publicity. And let's not forget that Gottmik is already a high-profile contestant all by herself. She was already famous before this. She had a huge media following, and even in her intro, she's shown as a makeup artist for big names in the entertainment industry. So she is our candidate for a hero edit. She is our first candidate as a top 3, all because of this. But again, we will talk a little bit more about all of this during the speculations. Now, Gottmik is the second queen who get to have some pictures of her work edited into her intro. I don't know if it was 3 or 4, but it was a ton. And her entrance time was one of the longest. Her confessional time was one of the longest. When we see later the chart of the confessionals, we'll talk again about this and the relevancy about this. They want you to see her immediately, and they want you to have a positive image of her immediately. Remember, first impression is the one that counts. So, moving on. Utica entrance was my favorite at all. I genuinely laughed. And you know me, I am a frustrated bitch. I never laugh. So It was incredible. I had this strong feeling before seeing this season of repulsion toward Utica, because she remembers of Tim Curry as Pennywise the Clown, and they kind of have a trauma about it. But seeing the show and seeing the kind of person, the way she presents herself, it really flipped my perception of her. So I like Utica. The problem is she's the first one to have an ambivalent edit. Now, how does this plays out? I don't think it has nothing to do with the rearranging of the edit and the rearranging of the season. Not at all. What I think it's happening with Utica, and when we get to see Utica bitch-facing Gottmik, or have a shady noise playing under Utica, is not because they are trying to make Utica look bad. Is that they are pulling the usual stupid tricks that they always pull. They make one queen look worse so that the other can look better by comparison. And this kind of shit is 100% part of the hero edit. So they're making Utica look bad not because they want her to be a villain. They are doing it so that you keep a closer look on Gottmik and you fall in love with Gottmik. Let's not forget, she is our hero. Now, can you imagine if they eliminated next episode? I would look like a complete idiot. What a surprise. Who would have known? Okay, moving on. Next up, we have Rosé and Olivia. Which absolutely by chance happened to have to lip sync together. I have to repeat, it's absolutely by chance. It was not a story producing. It was not to try to trigger Rosé, because let's not forget, Rosé is the second high-profile queen that we have. She's been everywhere. She has done other reality TV. She has done talent show. She's in a band with Jen. Rosé is a very high-profile confessional, yes. Is a very high-profile queen. So can you imagine if you can take a queen like Rosé and make her look like a complete bitch? With the following that she has. If you do that, it's an editing accomplishment. And this is what I think they try to do. Did they make it? I don't know. Well, again, we will go to the speculations. But who knew? By chance, she happened to have to lip sync against somebody younger, somebody that she knows, and somebody who has less experience than her. And of course, she loses the lip sync. Of course she loses the lip sync. So it looks to me like they are trying to create a storyline there. And try to accomplish the impossible. Take a very famous queen and make her look like a complete bitch. And if you do that, you accomplished a very great thing. At least from a producer's point of view. Because, famous queen, loved queen, is a bitch on TV, and people on Twitter go like, ta 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 ta. Oh, you are this, oh, you are that. And that's what they want. They want fucking publicity. And this is what's all about this moment. It's about publicity, nothing more. It's not about creating a good show. It's not about creating a quality show. It's about blah, 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 blah. Who gives a shit if people then receive death threats? Who gives a shit if people go away from social media, which is basically how they get their money in this day and age? Who cares about that? It's about publicity. You gotta love World of Wonder. Such a nice company. I gotta send them a bouquet of flowers. Or maybe of dicks. What else do we have about this? Rosé. Well, Rosé has added, and this is the reason why I told you that I think they went back and changed things and refilmed Confessional, because of Rosé. That is my best bet. I cannot guarantee that. Of course I cannot guarantee that. If we are completely wrong about it, we will retalk, because every time we analyze the previous prediction that we did, why we did them, and what went wrong with them. So don't worry, we will continue to talk about it. But this is what I think happened. I think that either they did their best to trigger Rosé, but it didn't work. And then they tried to edit a season to create a storyline in which she is a complete bitch, but that didn't work. So they had to go back and start changing a little bit things. Or they did their best to trigger her, and it worked so well that they didn't want to spoil the surprise on episode 1, and they tried to tune up the edit in a little bit more of a favorable way to create a rising in her villain edit. And if that happens, we'll see when she interacts with all of the other queens, which of course won't happen for a while, because judging by the promo that was at the end of this episode, next episode we'll get to see the winning queen, and the episode after we're probably going to see the losers queen, because I don't really think that they can push both of them as two separate groups in a 1 hour episode. What do? Half an hour one, after one half an hour the other? That's possible, but I don't see it happening. So Rosé is the other one with the ambivalent edit. We see her throwing a little bit of shade to Olivia, but not too bad. Not too bad. It looks like the confessional that looks like it was refilmed was really tuned down. You know, was more like, yeah, she's younger. I am surprised, but good for her. Good for her. You know. So there is something there. Let's keep an eye on that. Let's not forget about that. And of course, they lip sync and Rosé loses. Who would have known? I can tell you, the moment I saw it, I immediately thought she is going to lose it. There's no way she's going to win it. Now, let's have a little bit of Red Bull, because I am feeling a little bit of my eyelids going down. Now, next up we have Tina, Kimora, and Elliot. And this is the shocker. Tina is absolute the shocker. Again, we will talk about it when we do the prediction again, but Tina's edit was nothing to gag on at all. She is funny as hell, but there were shady noises playing on her. It looks like some of her confessionals were cut to make her look worse than what she did, what I think she did. So keep an eye on Tina. Keep an eye on Tina. Kimora had a pretty good edit, a pretty normal edit. I didn't notice anything strange going on with it. But Elliot had a ton of shady noises, like a ton of them. By the end of the episode, it was like a dozen of them. Now, you have to forgive me because I don't have the clip with all of these rattlesnake noises playing, but trust me, with words, it's a ton of them. When I will get the episode out, because we will do an episode based on this stream, and I will try to keep it up every week, week by week, so that if people that don't really have time to come to the stream or don't like the stream for some reason, they prefer videos, they get to have a little bit of this package as well. So when I do that, I will add in the video so that you can see it. But for this moment, trust me on the word, they are really fucking up with Elliot. There is no doubt about it. It was a ton. It was, by the end of the episode, it was like she was. Do you remember Latrice in All Stars? She was looking at someone, shady noise. She was saying something on a confessional, shady noise. What the hell? Give me a break. Give me a break. I got it. She has to be a villain. But don't. Come on. But of course, it's World of Wonder, so they decided to stop. Trying creating how can I say, a proper show, a show where you put effort to tell a story. Rattlesnake noises, it's the bottom of the barrel. It's literally the bottom of the barrel. So now that we have gone through all of this, one more thing. The songs of the lip sync were absolutely awful. I don't know why they choose these songs, but I'm taking bets. How do they choose the songs? Well, maybe they go through the Viacom CBS catalog and see what they own, so they don't have to pay royalties and something like that. That's how I think that they choose their songs. Now, of course, apart from that, there is RuPaul's discography, which, if you check it out on Twitter, it's massive, with such great hits like Lady Toy, and Granny Chaser. And my favorite one, Responsibility. That's some such great songs for a lip sync. Oh God, RuPaul has a wild past, and we will never get close to uncover 10% of it. Now, let's Max Rollins, you loved all of the songs. You must be young. You must be so young, which means I'm old. Which means I'm old. But you know what? I am used to the idea that a lip sync song in a queer show for queer people, mostly famous among, let's face it, gay men, would be songs that kind of like they should make you feel like you need to how can I say, like you need to sit on a donut for a week, if you know what I mean by that. That's, you know, these songs need to channel your inner faggot. That's what this song should do. That's what I would like to see, you know. I want to feel like a power bottom when I see a lip sync for your life. That's the feeling that I want. So, my God, I hope my boyfriend's asleep. Yeah, Lady Marmalade was a very good one, Syria. I completely agree. That's what I was talking about. I want to hear that kind of songs. So the rest was meh, whatever it is. Whatever they have to do, I don't know. I don't care. Let's move on to speculations. Now, let's review the speculations that you did. Yes, of course, that you guys did. I need more Red Bull. Wait a moment. Shit. I throw half of the Red Bull on the desk. Wait a second. Ah, damn. Is it dry? Oh, yes, that's what he said yesterday night. Okay, where are we? Speculations. Okay, speculations. Let's review the speculations that we did in the pre-chop, the one that nobody watched. Why didn't you watch it? It was an amazing stream. I was basically sleeping for 2 hours in front of the microphone. You missed an incredible opportunity. Anyway, we did this speculation last time. Our top 4 will be comprised by 2 queens plus 2 other queens. Now, 2 queens that are there for sure are the Young and Talented, because the Young and Talented is the oldest kind of top 3 or winner that they have. It started in season 6 with Adore Delano. Then we had Violet. Then we had Naomi. Season 9 was the notable exception. But then in season 10 you had Aquaria. And then in season 11 there was Evie. And in season 12 there was Gigi. All of these queens between 21 and 24 years old. Does it happen by chance? No, guys. It's marketing. It's marketing. World of Wonder is a business, and the business that works on entertainment needs to know its market. That's why they have a marketing department. And you know what? The market for RuPaul's Drag Race is young people, and young people want to see themselves in the potential winners. So there's always a Young and Talented there. Between 21 and 24, it's always there. And Gottmik is the only one that stays in this criteria, apart from the fact that they absolutely need an image lift from last year, from what went on with Gigi Good. They need the publicity that comes from the first trans men and so on. What the hell? We don't give a shit if Gottmik is a trans man, okay? She is a performer. That's what I care. I don't care what she has between her legs. I couldn't care literally less. I am happy that the show is getting more inclusive, but it ends up there. It ends there. But of course, the rest of the world doesn't reason like us. They are like, oh my God, trans men, what is it? What is it? And speaking of that, I noticed already some kind of nasty comments coming because of this. And let me tell you something. I believe in inclusion. Okay, inclusion means that we are equal. That we don't give a shit about who we fuck with, what do we have between our legs, which kind of genitalia we had when we were born, and so on and so on. Who gives a shit? We are all human people, which also means that sometimes I am the butt of the joke and sometimes you are the butt of the joke. But if it's done in good spirit, then where is the problem? Then where the hell is the problem? That's the literal meaning of inclusivity. So you will find people tell you that depending on whatever you say, you are phobic this or homophobic or racist or whatever it is for the stupidest things out there. And what happens when you have people like this going around? That when you have other people who know nothing about the meaning of the difference between gender identity and orientation, for example, some people don't know what it is. So they will make stupid comments, but they don't do it with spite. They do it because they don't know any better. And these people get shamed. Because you know what? Shaming someone so that you look better, because you are defending someone else's issue. You are defending someone else's issue for them, and they didn't even ask. So you shame these people into being inclusive. Well, guess what? It doesn't fucking work. It never works. You cannot take someone that knows nothing about these issues and then shame them and point finger at them and think, oh, well, now that you made me feel like a complete asshole, I am sure going to like all of this trans men, trans women, gay people, queer people. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't fucking work like that. And why do you meet this kind of people all of the time who say that everything is phobic, as everything is an ism of some kind? Why do they do that? Well, let me tell you my personal belief. They do it because they don't have a shred of self-esteem, and they don't really give a shit about the struggles of trans men and especially trans women, and especially trans women of color. They don't give a shit. What they give a shit about is to police your language. What they do give a shit about is to police you, because it's a power dynamic. They don't really give a shit. And that is the reason why Stacy was left homeless 6 months ago and no one was donating money to her. But trust me, everybody was online policing everybody else because you are phobic, because you're... I swear, this thing make me go completely insane and ballistic. And trust me, we're going to see a ton of this. So I'm telling you before, so that you are prepared. Now, let's close that. Moving on back to our speculation. So, market dictates that we need to have a young and talented, with 90% hero added. And there it is, got me. That's our prediction for the top 4. The second one, which also come from the marketing department, of course my opinion, don't forget that, is the Queen of Color not portrayed as a villain? Because let's not forget that Drag Race, at least RuPaul's Drag Race, is made for the U.S. market, and a huge chunk of the U.S. market, of course, is African American people and other people of color, Asian, Latinos, Polynesian, Latrice, for example. So there is a market there, and this market wants to be represented as well. So they need a Queen of Color that it's not portrayed as a villain. Now, our initial prediction was that it was either going to be Lala, Olivia, and Simone. I am sticking with these possibilities for 2 reasons. Number one, Candy runs her mouth too much. She cannot be portrayed as the uncontroversial, not remotely villainous Queen of Color that needs to be taken to the top 3 so that a huge chunk of the population feels represented. It's never going to happen. It's not because she is a bad person. I don't know her. I don't know her. I don't think so. She doesn't look like that to me. But then again, what's my judgment based on? 10 minutes on a reality TV show? So I don't know. I have no idea. But judging by the way she runs her mouth, she has no chance to be that queen of color that market dictates has to be there. Have I made myself clear? Now, the other ones were the lovable weirdo, the campy queen, the season-long villain, the professional queen, and then a filler queen or a new prototype. I'm not going over this again or who can be who because it's simply too soon to tell. So let's move on to the damn confessional. Let's move on to the confessional chart. Now, how much does it take to make a confessional chart? It takes like hours. It takes hours to prepare the material for this stream. I watched the episode on Saturday morning with my partner. And then I spent my whole Saturday until 10 in the evening preparing the confessional chart and tracing all of the confessionals. That's how much time it takes. So I hope that you will remember, because we have a Patreon. So if you feel like giving something to us, you are very welcome. You are very welcome. Oh God, I hate asking people for money. Anyway, but we have to do it because I never do it. So let's move on to the confessional chart. Now, what you see are 3 types of confessionals. We have negative, positive, and an intro plus narrator kind of confessional. Now, how do I judge these confessionals? You have to understand, it's a subjective thing. I take into account the circumstance, I take into account the edit that goes around the confessionals, I take into account the kind of sounds that plays under the confessionals, the tone of voice, but ultimately is my judgment. It's not an exact science, but in red, what you see are the ones that I judge to be negative confessionals. The positive one, of course, need no explanation. And the intro plus narrator is the time that the queen spent introducing themselves and the time that they spent being narrators of the season, basically telling you what's happening during the episode. Like, oh, now we have to lip sync and, things like this. So right out of the bat, what you see is that Candy had a ton of confessional time. She had 13 confessionals and more than 2 minutes of confessional time. She narrated for a long part of it. Most of that gray bar that you see was her introduction. She has one of the longest introduction in the season next to Gottmik. And she had a ton of confessional. So initially, I would have told you that they are drawing our attention to her because she's going to portray it as a villain. Now that I have seen the storyline that they opened up with Rosé, both with Olivia and with Tina, I am not so convinced. I'm not so convinced. We need to see them interact to really nail down who the villains are going to be and then track down everything about them and shame these fucked up producers of World of Wonder. So once we have done that. Now, who else has bad confessionals? Well, this was the shocker for me. Tina Burner. This was the shocker because I think she is funny. I was laughing, genuinely laughing, when she did that. And this plays into the part that we are basically all old as fuck. But it plays into the part that she did the showgirl thing. It was so good. But she runs her mouth. You cannot go into this show and talk too much. Because when you are filmed 24/7 for 4 to 6 weeks, and you are under pressure, and you spent a ton of money to buy the outfits, and maybe you have the producers trying to trigger you through their choices, and maybe you have the talent handlers who are always there with a little word in your ear, or maybe you have other queens in the cast that are trying to trigger you, because if you are the villain, maybe they don't need to make me look like a villain. These are all things that happen. And if you run your mouth too much, guess what's going to happen to you when if there's a lack of villains, you are going to be the villain. And there's a part, I don't know if it was in the main show or if it was in Untucked. I don't know because I don't remember because half of my brain is sleeping. But she said, I am afraid of being portrayed and then Candy finished the phrase saying, like a bitch. Now, what I think Tina wanted to say is, I'm afraid of getting the villain edit. But they cannot say it. They cannot say it. So, keep an eye on Tina. Because do you remember when we said that thing with Rosé? The fact that she had two storylines connected, one with Tina and one with Olivia. If they couldn't manage to trigger Rosé, then Tina will be our best candidate for a villain edit. It's disheartening, but she's high profile as well, and she's a good replacement of a villain if they couldn't trigger Rosé. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. We'll be very active on this thing and keep track of all of it. And I hope people will share it and people will understand it. Now, the other one that surprised me were Denali and Elliot. I was really surprised to see this kind of edit pulled onto them. I don't really understand it. Of course, it's the first episode in a long season, so it's difficult, even though right out of the bat, they kind of give you hints of what they want to do. Maybe they're trying to confuse us, to spice up the show a little bit, but I can tell you, all those shady noises of Elliot were no mistakes. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. And Denali, of course, Denali too. She had a terrible edit, and that being put on the bottom on purpose, it looked to me like they tried to trigger her, and it worked. It looked like it worked. So keep an eye on that as well. Now, everything else, there's not much to say about their confessionals. The chart is there. Make up your own mind about it, but take a look at Gottmik. She has a minute and 10 seconds of confessionals. Compare it with Tamisha. But she has only 5 confessionals. Tamisha had 10. What does it mean? It means that whenever Gottmik has a confessional, she has a longer confessional, more time to keep our attention on her in a continuous manner. It's not like, boop, a phrase, boop, another phrase. No, she is there and she's talking to you. And they let her talk. So this, for me, it's another hint of a hero edit and a push to the top 4. We're going to see about that, but I've expressed my opinion long enough. This is a business, and she is just a perfect candidate. You are a marketing idiot if you pass on the opportunity, which World of Wonder have kind of shown to be honest. You remember in All Stars when they eliminated Derek Barry, even though she was bringing, she was stirring the pot, she was bringing real drama to the show, and they eliminated her, which was such a stupid decision to make. And the same thing they did with Gia Gunn. I mean, you have real people willing to spice things up with real things, and you pass on the opportunity, you're an idiot. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen until we see all of these queens interact with each other. And by all of them, I don't mean just the winner or the losers. I mean all of them together. Until we get the opportunity of seeing how they edit that interaction, we cannot nail down on anybody's edit. But we can put int already. So the next time you see an episode, you already, you start to train your eyes a little bit and keep your attention on someone. So next episode, keep your attention on Denali, Tina, and Elliot, and Rosé. Let's not forget Rosé. So with this said, who is going home? Because the eliminated queen have to choose somebody who's going home. Now, my partner doesn't believe that they are really going to send somebody home. And for me, it looks strange as well, because last season they made such a huge deal about giving us time to get to know the queen that would go home first. We had the split premiere, and Dahlia didn't go home until the 3rd episode. So we had 2 whole episodes with her, and she was also recurring during the episode. So the fact that they would send the queen home in the first episode without seeing basically nothing of her, for me, it's absolutely, it's I don't know, it's stupid. But if it is like this, it is how it is. Now, what do I think is going to happen? Well, I think that we have basically three possibilities. Number one, they are really doing it for shock value, and they are really voting one to leave the cast, and she will leave the cast. That's option one. Number two, the queen that nominates gets to choose who is really going home, because shock value, you know? So that's the other option. Option number three, the queen that they nominate will join the winners, like they did for a main challenge, I think, last season. They asked everybody who is the weaker, and the weaker joined the winners. So we are going to see about that. But you know, this season is about shock value, because apparently talent in editing a show and producing a show went down the drain. So shock value, shock value, shock value. Okay, now that we have done that, if you want, come back in 5 minutes, because that's the time that it's going to take me, probably less. But now let's go to the queens who had 3 confessionals. Let's go to the queens who had 3 confessionals, and let's make also, based on that, our official nomination for who will be the queens that they will send home. Okay? So if you don't want any kind of spoilers, see you back in 3 minutes. Okay? Okay, let's go. Now, Candy has 3 confessionals. The first 2 we saw in the beginning, and we have a third one right in the center. The eyebrows look different, the hat is in a different position, the beard has grown, and the filtering is lighter. So, of course, she's not going to go anywhere, but I have to show you. She is one of those who has a triple confessional. The next one is Joy. Joy. Why do I say Joy? It's Joy. Well, I cannot really pronounce it, but anyway, he's the third who has the second who has 3 confessionals. So since he is part of the bottom queens, he's not going anywhere at all. And of course, I tracked also what they said in this confessional. It was basic comment with no reference to the episode whatsoever. So the center one comes from a different episode. The other one who had the third confessional was Rosé. She's also part of the bottom group. And so she's not going anywhere as well. Again, when she did the third confessional, the one that absolutely comes from a different episode, she was saying something that was not referencing this episode. It was, I think, a comment about her relationship with Tina Burner. I think she was saying, I like Tina, but Tina doesn't like me. I think that was that confessional. Okay? So we have these 3 queens. Now, let's remove them and go back to the confessional chart so that we can say who will they nominate. Now, Denali, let me see if I can remember who is in the bottom. Okay, so Joy will not go anywhere because of the confessionals. Rosé will not go anywhere because of the confessionals, but also because she has 2 open storylines. So she's not going anywhere. And don't forget, these storylines have been plotted, have been carried out, have been edited in. So everything that they do could be very well based on the choice that the queens made. They chose a queen, and then the editors and the producers edited the storylines. So that's why the 2 things fit together. So Rosé is not going anywhere. Now, who else is not going anywhere? We had Denali. Denali, she is at the beginning of what looks like a villain edit, so I don't think she's going anywhere. You don't waste all of the time in editing if you don't have a reason for doing it. So I don't think she's going to go anywhere. So what are our nomination? Who is left? Utica, Kamora, and Elliot. It's going to be one of these 3. It's going to be one of these 3, without a doubt. All the other ones cannot go home. They have storylines open. They have a particular edit in the work. So they are not going anywhere. The queen that goes home is one of these 3. Okay? Now that we have said that, we survived. Guys, we survived. A round of applause. Okay. Now, now that we have done all of that, do I have something to tell about the channel? Yes, I have to thank everybody for sharing the video that we made, the editing magic, because YouTube was not picking it up at all. Because of reasons that I explained already, but basically I fucked up the click-through rating for the channel, because I always left the live streams there and nobody was clicking on it, and the YouTube algorithm was learning on it, and so it's not suggesting our videos anymore. This is also one of the reasons why all of the live stream will be not privated, will be not visible on the channel. They are on the playlist. If you go in the front page of the channel, you scroll to the bottom, you will find the playlist with all of the chops that we did, the past streams, the chop for season 12 and the All Stars 5. And season 13, of course. You will find them there, because once this streaming is over, I will put it there immediately. But don't worry, I will keep reminding when the episode comes out. I will put a link, I will say it. Don't worry, you will find them. Now, speaking of taking a little bit of a pause, it's almost time for a cigarette. So let's have a nice cigarette. Let's have a nice cigarette. Go to the bathroom if you have to go to the bathroom. I don't care what you do, as long as you are back in 5 minutes. I will go to smoke and to the bathroom and to get another energy drink. Meanwhile, I will leave you with one of the songs that I would hope to see in a lip sync. You know, those kind of songs that make you not sit right for a week. And there's an interesting story behind it. Maybe we'll talk about it later. Anyway. See you in 5 minutes. And we're back. We are back. Chilled, relaxed. Now we have our time. It's our time. Unbutton your pants. Take your vaping thing if you vape. Smoke at home if you do smoke at home. Grab a drink. Do whatever the fuck you want. Who cares? Now, let's go to the comments. And before we do that, that's something that I forgot to say. My lovely partner watched the pit stop, I think it's called. The pit crew? The pit stop. The one with Trixie. Now Trixie is doing it with Shay. Now, I don't watch any of World of Wonder shit because from my point of view, it's not really entertaining, but he does, and this is a good thing, because we got some commentary on it. Now, from his point of view, the queens that do the pit stop, they are, how can I say, they are made aware of the kind of storylines that they're trying to portray. Because when I told him what I basically found out while analyzing the episode about Rosé's storyline and how they think they refilmed the confessional to manipulate that a little bit, he told me this. He told me, well, I watched it and they kept shitting on Rosé because she was shocked that she was eliminated. That's it. She didn't do anything else. But they pushed on it. So why the hell did they push on it? Well, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. So we're going to see what happens about that. But keep an eye, because remember one thing. RuPaul's Drag Race is a family. And by that, I don't mean that they really care about each other, of course. Of course, I don't mean that. But they all have to earn from the show. So they all have to prostitute themselves to World of Wonder. If they want to keep staying relevant, if they want to keep their ties with World of Wonder, they have to play along. And the ones who play along better are the ones that stay. Also, if people like them, of course. So let's not forget them. Now, let's move on to the comments, shall we? If you have questions, answer the question. Please don't ask me if I'm a top or a bottom. That's not a nice thing to ask, but I hope you like that song. And I hope that you filled and you channeled your inner power bottom based on that. Incidentally, since we started playing copyright songs, we are not going to earn anything on this stream. So again, if you can spare something, it would be kind of nice. Okay, I'm stopping. That's it. Fantasia reminded me that I have to remind you about the Patreon. That's it. Fantasia, you heard? That's it. Let's move on. Did you like the song? It was from a movie called Dirty Dancing. And if you're a faggot, you have to see that movie. It's impossible that you didn't see that movie. The point is, I am desperately trying for years to make my partner watch that movie with me. And he never, ever watches it. But, you know, I get to play the move based on that song on him. And he laughs every time. So it's kind of a running gag. And he is still awake, by the way. So he can hear everything I'm saying, which is great. It's a great thing to know. Now let's drink on that, shall we? Spyrus, welcome, new viewer. I don't think I saw you. Well, I have also a fucked up memory, but if you are indeed a new viewers, then welcome to our lovely family. And we are a much better family than Drag Race because we actually care about each other. That's incredible, isn't it? I know, in this day and age, people shouldn't do this such old-fashioned thing to do. Anyway, welcome. And you say, this is on the dirty playlist for sure. Yes, of course. You know what this movie is from. And go watch it. If you have nothing better to do, go watch it. Go watch it. You will feel incredible after it. And also incredibly old. Isn't it true, Dixie? Dixie is the other old gal with me in the chat. Yes, Dixie, that's a lip sync song. Hungry Eyes. Yes. Yes, you got it. Yes, you got it. Seneca, I love this song. Mrs. G loves the song. Yes, it's a fantastic song for a lip sync. But unfortunately, we are not going to see much of this. And also, I think that it would cost a little bit too much to have it on the show. But let's think about it. They had Lady Gaga. Why can't they have this? It's an old song. Anyway, let's move on to the other comments. Lena Clark says, for a lip sync for your life to I Ran by Flock of Seagulls. I don't know that. I'm writing it down because I'm an old bitch. I don't use the smartphone. I use pen and paper. So I'm writing it down. My God, I'm not that old, I swear. But I like to play about it. I Ran by... There we have it. If it's good, we'll play it next time. Thanks for the... Otherwise, we'll go with something really faggoty next time. Think about it. It's going to be Whitney Houston. Fantasia said, that would be a touchy-feely lip sync like the Rasha and Carmen. Yes, the Rasha and Carmen lip sync was... Well, yes, I guess they could have played it in a very touchy way, but it was in a very slutty way. And I'm totally okay with it. Lady Baconator, I'm drinking tea. Good for you. My partner made me tea. I said, what the fuck are you saying? Give me the energy drink. Otherwise I will fall asleep. Mrs. G says, the pit stop. We miss Bob. Yes, we do miss Bob. And on the note of Bob, I must tell you, you know, if you followed the live stream or you heard me long enough, you know that I'm the kind of person who has no problem changing his mind whenever new things comes along. So I didn't like Bob on season 8, mostly because of his hero headed. And let's face it, it didn't really get, in my opinion, to really shine on the show. But it's grown on me. It's really grown on me. What I like the most about Bob is his commentary and especially his podcast. It's much better than so many other podcasts around. Because let's face it, he really speaks. He doesn't give a shit. That's what I like about Bob. He really doesn't give a shit. So that's on that note. Lena Clark says, the pit stop was starting rosé drama. Oh, you watch it. Oh, Lena, I'm so sorry for you. Come here, let me hug you. Dixie, oh, the memories. Yes, the memories. Dixie. The memories. She's referring to the song, by the way. Sasha, Olivia said on live with Candy that Rose did congratulate her. So all of the shit that Trixie and Shay said were not valid. That's a huge possibility. That's a huge possibility. When I watched back the episode, either they became really good in editing, because it really looked like she just walked away. But of course, that's a possibility. We never know. We never know. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's really keep an eye on that. If you ask for my opinion, I don't think that they managed to trigger Rosé, because she looks like a real professional queen, you know, one that takes it in the ass and still smiles. That's the meaning of professional. At least in my God, this stream is becoming too R-rated. Fantasia, join us in the Patreon. We are lonely. Yes. Yes, we are. Beverly Steer, cheers. Beverly, welcome. You missed. Did you just come? I didn't take a look on the chat. I was a little bit distracted. Lena Clark, hello, Mr. Invisible. He's in the other room. He's trying to fake that he's asleep, but he's not. I can hear that he's on YouTube, as usual. But I'll say hello for you. And we'll see what he says. I tried to drag him on stream, and he said, no, I am too shy. Maybe I will start saying the wrong things. And I said, what do you mean by the wrong things? Well, you know, like when we were watching the episode, and I said to Gottmik, well, at least she doesn't have to talk. And he was afraid of saying it on stream. I mean, it's an innocent joke. It's true. What's the problem with it? I mean, we are in here. We are all reasonable people. We don't point fingers at anyone. We enjoy the perks that comes from, you know, being all part of the same queer family. It's true. She doesn't have to talk. What's the problem with it? Good for her. Melanie, you should sell T-shirt that say, "Don't feed the editors." Yes, I guess we could do that. I'm not sure how much we would make out of it, but then again, think about it from a perspective. Merchandise is something that I don't know how many people get merchandise, but whenever you go like in this shop like Teespring, they like to keep 50% of it. Of whatever is left, you need to pay 50 to 60% taxes on it. I mean, if you want to support the channel, the best way is really Patreon, because we give Patreon, I think, like 10%. Then most of the taxes are already included, so we get like 80% of whatever people donate. So that's really the best way. If you want to support us, that's the best way. T-shirts or even the super chats that are not enabled on the channel. Even those, YouTube keeps 50%. But then again, you pay less taxes on it. But then 50% and 25% of taxes, you're left with 25% of whatever people donate. So it's not really if you really want support, then Patreon is really the best way. Everything else, yes, brings you something. Maybe it's even more convenient, but you know, it's not as efficient. Let's say it like this. Which reminds me of the fact that I was really hoping for last video to really go well, so that we could make enough to get a new computer, because that's really the imperative for the channel. Getting a new computer, getting faster editing, so that we can get more video out faster. It's also easier for me to work on, because I don't have to wait for everything to load, everything to render. At least I don't have to, you know, wait that much. And also a microphone, because let's face it, this microphone is shitty. Somehow it manages to sound better on live streams, but when I try to record voiceovers, maybe it's the software that I use. I don't know. But you know, we try to do the best we can with what we have. So I hope that you appreciate the work that's behind it, and not the amount of money that we have for fancy stuff. Amateur season, I'm here. Welcome. Sorry I'm late. No worries, because the beginning of the stream was extremely R-rated. So since you are on the younger side, it's better this way. Let's say it like this. Amateur season said, YouTube is not notifying me about the live stream. Oh, what a surprise. It never happens. You're like the only person who ever said me something like this. Really, seriously. Next up, we're going to find out that people will get unsubscribed randomly. Oh, YouTube. Oh, what happened to you? What happened to you, YouTube? Lena Clark. Oh my fucking god, he wrote it down. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Dixie, when Dirty Dancing first came out, I watched it over and over for an entire weekend. When you played that song, my whole life flashed in front of my eyes. Oh, Dixie, by the way, thank you for the comment that you left on the video. I wanted to write something, and then I thought, no, eventually you're going to come on the stream, and I can thank you, by voice. You're always so nice. You're always so thoughtful whenever you sit down and write. I really appreciate it. For every fucked up comment that we get comments like yours that really make our day. Especially mine, because I'm the editor. I'm the one who spends a ton of time doing all of these kind of things. So I really appreciate that, and I wanted to thank you not in person, but let's say in the best middle way. Lena said, Bob's YouTube channel is fantastic. Ish and other queens who are doing their makeup tutorials. It's hilarious. Yes, my partner watches it. He showed me Evie's makeup tutorial. Damn. Corinne said, I also loved Monet, the exchange rate. I liked siblings rivalry. I don't know if they are still doing it. I didn't have much time to do anything the last month. But I liked it very much. They spilled a ton of tea, especially when there was that whole sherry pie thing going on, because they knew her. So they talked a lot about it. They said a ton of things. And they made also some pretty insightful comments, which, whenever you watch well, let's face it, the vast majority of the drag queens, they are entertaining, but very few of them are insightful. And when you make Bob and Monet together, you really get an interesting show. It's entertaining and it's interesting. So that's another reason why Bob really grown on me. Dixie, no such thing as too R-rated. Well, YouTube. You know how YouTube is. So, Sasha, I watch too many queens Instagram live, so I know a lot of stuff. Come, spill everything. If you witnessed all of that, spill. Don't be ashamed. Eddie Littlewood, new user. Well, new user, I said it before. New user, welcome. And said, well, I do about the shady producers, but I do know that I stand the fracking queen herself, Miss RuPaul. Let's not forget the fracking. Let's not forget the fracking. And that fantastic article out there that somebody commented when I did the fracking part on the Editing Magic video. Somebody commented, but a lot of people, they are like indignated by this, but if they educated themselves, they would have found this article in which they demonstrate that YouTube has no saying in the fracking. And I was like, what the fuck are you saying? That article, we talked about it. That article was pure shill. They basically said, well, maybe sometimes what happens is that you do not own the mineral rights on the land, or you just own part of them, so you don't really have a choice. If the companies want to frack, they will frack. But then again, RuPaul said that they lease the mineral rights. These are her words. And last time I checked, you cannot lease something that you do not own. Otherwise, guys, I wouldn't be asking for donation. I would simply lease all of your houses and get money from it. Let's be realistic. So if you read that article, it's complete shill. I think they paid for it, because it's unbelievable the lack of integrity in doing word gymnastic to avoid having people even think about the proper questions to ask. Like, why the fuck did she say that they lease it if she doesn't own it? Well, that's journalism today. That's what it is. Spyro said, every time I think of Nina West, I think with the foot in her mouth, and it's 100% your fault. Oh, Nina South. You know damn well that the moment I start to understand how autotune works, we're going to have a parody song about it. You know it, it's coming. So brace yourselves. I will feel my inner singing hoots, and we will have some things. I don't know how to call it yet, but we will definitely have song parodies. Seneca said, I would buy it, the shirt. Really? I thought you would buy, I don't know, fracking rights? Something like that? Syria, which I'm mispronouncing. You should make some t-shirts that said, what the frack, for Mama Ru herself. Oh my God. So according to this article that I didn't link because of course I'm unprofessional, she is worth 60 millions. 60 millions. Why are there like 80 fracking rigs on that ranch? And why are there more than 100 waiting for approval? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. It could be for the love of money, but nobody knows. Mrs. G, when I get a job, I'll surely support you on Patreon. I will hold you to that. That you get a job, not that you will donate. And best of luck, because we are really living in terrible times. Really. Fantasia, he gets a whole 90 cents a month on the Patreon. No. It's like, I think it's like $8 after taxes. But since this year, we got, I think, a whole $100 from Patreon, which it's a great thing, and it goes directly in our computer fund. So we're not spending it on energy drinks, even though that's basically what the tier that you choose, but we're saving it for the computer. Energy drinks are on my partner. Melanie, maybe they get rid of Bob because he was too honest. Yes, I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that. Seneca, I got to pay my bills and then I will support for pay. Oh, come on. Yes. Thank you if you do it. Don't worry. Don't worry. If you can, yes, fantastic. If you cannot, it's good anyway. You know, there are many ways in which you can support us, like sharing our videos and helping us with whatever is going with the YouTube algorithm. That really helps. Giving thumbs up, leaving a comment, everything else shows engaging and helps the YouTube algorithm saying, okay, whatever is going on this channel is interesting. Let's suggest it to someone else. There are many ways in which you can help us. If you tip us, it's like it feels like something special, you know. It feels like that feels good. I don't know how to say it. That feels good, but that's not the only thing that you can do if you can help us. And if you can help us by joining the Patreon, and then at some point you cannot anymore, that's no problem. Thanks for whatever support you were willing to give us. Now let's stop it with that thing, because it really starts to feel like pushing on it. I don't like it. Okay, so let's skip that. Let's move on to the rest of the comment. I'm waiting for shady comments. You guys are being too nice. Let's move on. Lena, having a Teespring or Redbubble yant good for making money, but it's fun to think somebody is wearing an advertisement for your channel. You know, if we ever manage to become a successful channel, and by successful, I mean that the channel can pay for itself, and maybe one day even pay for my time, maybe. But if we have a successful channel, we will start doing treasure hunts on the videos, and yes, we will make t-shirts and send them to the winners with nice things like that. I promise you. I don't know if it's ever going to happen or when it's going to happen, but if it happens, you can hold me accountable for that. Eddie said, I will sell my ranch for fracking and give you all the money via PayPal. Yes? Well, what do you know? Some people own a ranch and some people don't. You know what's the difference? If you don't own a ranch, well, those are poor people. And that's how you call people who don't have a ranch. Sasha, after I finished the first spa, no, not spa. Why am I thinking? This is one of those things called Freudian lapses. Because it's been ages since I went to a spa. Like ages. And I need it so badly. But everything has been closed for 1.5 years. I mean, it's totally worth the money. Totally. What were you saying? Oh yeah, Sasha. After I finished the first episode, I literally sent 20 minutes of voice messages to my friend just saying all the wrongs with the episodes, and she thinks I'm crazy now. Yes. Yes. Well, you know, Sasha, you know where the word fans come from. It comes from fanatic, and this is what fanatics do. This exact thing. Oh my God. Where are we? This chat continuously moved back and down, back and down, back and down. Where the hell was I? Oh, here. Diogo says, imagine, the fracking shoe, like the shoe caver being peppermint fingers crossed. I didn't get that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's always your comments. Yogo, I need Bob hosting the pit stop with Monet and Peppermint on every season. We need more peppermint. We need more peppermint. We never have enough peppermints. Eddie, wait. Who the fuck disliked? I don't know. I don't care. Sometimes people just come, push a button, and don't think about it, and you cannot appeal to anybody. That's part of life. That's normal. Amateur Season, Sibling Rivalry, and The Chop with Manila Luzon and Latrice Royale are the only podcasts I listen to. Yes, when I saw that, I thought, fuck, we have the same name. We have the same name. But I think we did it first, so we have an exclamation mark on it. So we'll keep it like that. Sasha said Denali took what's that word? W-D? Wood? To the show? Oh, weed. And Sasha continues. And she literally told how she did it, and it was worth it. I love her. Don't tell me. I have a hunch. Was she listening to music? Oh, dear God. Diogo, Nina leaking a foot is the things that makes 2020 more cursed than 2020 was. Come on, she doesn't do that. She swallows them. Seneca, what the fuck, 60 millions? Yes. Yes. Dixie, that article was fake news. It sure was. Fantasia, has anyone joined the Stereo app? Randomly, Bob and Monet do live version of Siblings Rivalry, and you can leave voicemail comments for them. I didn't know that. Drop a link. Remember, when I do see any of you usual guys in the comments, what I do is that I add you to the trusted users, which means that if you drop a link in the chat or in the comments, it will be visible. Please don't abuse it, but you have this opportunity. So just drop links to legal things, please. Please, to legal things. Luis Felipe, could you imagine an Adam Joseph and Top RPDR videos parody? My God, can you imagine people parodying my accent? I had one person comment on the video, something like she was parroting what I was saying in the voiceover. So she said, you better make sure your accent is on point when doing voiceover for Drag Race videos. I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of problem do you have with it? This is not something that I do. This is something that I am. Something that I am basically born with. I cannot change it. Why do you pick on people for that? So I thought that the only possible replies was to tell her to calm down, Anita, because we're not going to have any fucking recount anytime soon. And if you know what I mean, then my compliments for following the incredible Lady Bunny. Nicolas Venezuela, can I have a shout out from the Philippines? Of course you can. Of course you can. Well, you did birth Manila Luzon, so, well... Syria, I would love a parody song set to the bit of Sissy That Walk called What the Frack. Syria, I already have the parody song. It's already written. It's called Sissy That Rig. And it's hilarious, but I didn't manage to sing it yet. But it sounds, I mean, it's so funny to me. It's stupid as fuck. You have to get in that stupid mindset. But it's good. It's a good parody. It will be out. Don't worry. We already worked on that. I have 4 fracking parodies on RuPaul fracking. But, you know, if I publish them all together, probably YouTube will flag it saying that it's bullying. Because, you know, you pick on someone. Doesn't matter if I am no one and she is a millionaire with almost... well, when they approve it, let's say the better part of 200 fracking rigs on the ranch. But that's how YouTube is today. Amateur season, I would watch and rewatch it over and over again. Oh, the parody. Fantasia, share, comment, and subscribe. Yes, 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 and give us likes. Oh, the likes. The algorithm has to like us. Amateur season, top RPDR videos is gonna be feeling the fantasy. I'm always feeling the fantasy. What changes is where I'm feeling it, which is something that you don't want to know. Addie Littlewood, I know it's hard to believe, but my friend from when I was younger, but my friend's mom from when I was younger was super close friend with RuPaul and still is. And one time I met her on a video call and she asked if I have any of her music? Well, that sounds like something RuPaul would ask. Luis Felipe, I need Miss Relatable t-shirts. Well, unfortunately, that would hardly qualify as fair use. Eddie Littlewood, merch, and I said no, and she said to my friend's mom, oh, I thought I was going to be meeting a fan. From that moment, I knew RuPaul was evil. Oh, come on. RuPaul is not evil. But let's remember, you have RuPaul the persona and you have RuPaul the person. Now, let's talk about impressions of RuPaul the person. Well, my impression is that the only thing she gives a shit about is money. And that's it. And that's it. Everything else is bullshit. But, you know, it's just my humble opinion. Now the chat skipped again. Fantastic. I hope YouTube is going to fix it. To fix this, because it's getting really tiring. Diogo, can we say about maybe RuPaul doesn't let they talk about Pablo Vittar on the show? I don't know who that is. Like, she is the most followed drag queen, and Gottmik painted her a couple of times, and she didn't say that yet. Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. So Gottmik painted a very famous drag queen, and it was not said on the show. She also painted Shangela. But I guess, you know, these are not as big of names. Like, who the fuck was that? The heir to the hotel chain. How is she called? That thing? No, well, Well, you know what I think about it. Let's move over. Sineka, also Sasha, that was me with my mother. I was explaining everything to her, and now she thinks I'm crazy. Oh, yes. If you do these kind of things about reality TV show, you are definitely crazy. But let's be honest, okay? Let's be honest for a moment. It's not just for itself. I think that doing this show also helps a lot in cementing the idea on people that there is a difference between reality and perception of that reality, because perception is something that can be manipulated, and it's not necessarily a good representation of the reality that you were witnessing. So there is something there in the middle, and this is something that you can bring from the show, from our show as well, and then reuse it in your everyday life, because understanding that the way you perceive the world, it's something that can be messed with, can help you in a ton of different times, especially when you have a negative perception of someone. And it can help you to understand why you have it. It can help you change it. And it can help you in a ton of different situations. Because it really puts you in that mindset that you have to do a little bit of gymnastic. Not everything you witness is granted. You have to use your brain and think about it. And I think that this is one of the reasons why we discuss the things we discuss. So on the surface, it might look like it's just obsessing over a show. But I like to think of the educational value that it's also behind it. That's something that's, for me, it's really motivating. Fantasia, so question. Did it look like Rosé took a while to get off the floor after she did that dip? I don't remember the lip sync. I watched that episode so much, but I really watched it, how can I, enjoyed it. Only one time. Because the lip sync, it's something that I'm not really looking for the editing in the lip sync, because we all know that they can put whatever they want where they want. So I don't know about that. Diogo, the most funny thing is that she don't say all winners like the others. Diogo, take your time. There's no rush. Take your time. It's the superstar season. Yes, Mama puts the house down. Okay. Diogo has weed. If anybody needs that, you know where to go. Mrs. G, yeah, y'all did it first. Maybe Manila and Latrice are fans of the live streams. Well, come on. Thank you. Oh, by the way, I read your comment. I hope things are doing a little bit better. It's really a shitty period for everyone, for one reason or the other. So if it helps, we are all there. So I hope you're doing better. Now, with that said, in the Drag Race fandom, chop is a very common word because it's part of the show. It's like you get the chop. So based on that, Manila and Latrice made a song called The Chop, which is a very good song. Of course, a ton of autotune, but that's, it's basic Manila Luzon. I remember one time on Reddit, it was like 3,000 years ago on Reddit, somebody was asking on the main sub, a real question, a real discussion. Hey guys, what are some things that made you change your mind after watching the show? Some things that you believed while watching the show, and then over time, by being on social media, by discussing, you changed your mind. It was, like an open discussion, like we don't have anymore. And somebody said, I thought Manila Luzon could sing. Which was so funny to me. So they did the song, and then we did this show based on the saying, the chop, and also reference to the song, because it's all the same culture, it's all the same mix. And so since they have a song, so they took it as a name for the show, because I think it's a very good name for a show. But so I have no problem with it. I will start having problem if they trademark it and then they send me a cease and desist on this show. Then I will have a problem. Otherwise, no problems here. Fantasia, you definitely did it first, because when I heard it came straight her to talk about it. Fantasia, are you okay? You with Diogo? Pika23, welcome to the stream. New user, woo! We are growing. I'm just dying for DragCon to come back. Ooh, it's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long time. Melanie, LOL's taking wood to Drag Race. Oh, come on, you gotta pass the time. I mean, if you think that lockdown is bad, think about what's for this, queens. I mean, at least in lockdowns, we can have phones, we can talk to each other, we can live stream, we can watch videos and interact on the internet. These queens cannot do anything. They are closed in a room with no phone, no computer, no nothing. All they have, probably, is a television. And I can guarantee you, you won't get Netflix on there. You will get CBS All Access. Luis Felipe, RuPaul doesn't recognize other drag legends. Maybe she's afraid of getting outshined by Pablo, or she just doesn't want to share the spotlight. Or RuPaul doesn't see Pablo as an A-list celebrity. That I agree 100% with all of that. 100%. Sineca, I like your accent and the way you speak. Thank you. Thank you. You know, there was a time in which I thought, English-speaking people will not be able to keep up with a different way of speaking. Especially because sometimes I miss words, sometimes I don't know words, sometimes I misaccent them. So, but I like to think that no matter what, if there's a quality behind the show, then people will just get used to it and integrate it somehow. So thank you, it helps. Fantasia, oh my goodness, I heard you singing on the end of one of those videos. Yes. Shocker, I am not the singer of the two. You should hear Mr. Invisible. He really can hold a tune. That there's no way he's ever going to sing any of this, for obvious reasons. And if you're sharp, you know them. Luis Felipe, the editors included Paris Hilton. Oh yes, there it is, Paris Hilton, during Gottmik introduction, but didn't put Pablo Vittar. That doesn't go along with my fantasy. You mean your jantasy? It's I don't know that word. It's called a jantasy. Check it on the dictionary. Seneca, I also love that parody that you had at the end of the video. I had so much fun doing that. And also editing it, because most people don't know this. Most people don't know that fracking releases methane. And methane is a huge contribution to global warming, more than CO2. That's why fracking is outright banned in many countries, because you're basically drilling, and whatever comes out, it comes out. You are not channeling it anywhere. It's gas. It goes. So sometimes what happens is that people will have their sinks caught on fire because of that. Because the gas got into the water supply. Because, that's what happens. Sometimes it goes directly into the atmospheres, but sometimes it takes a little bit of a break to set your sink on fire. And then it goes in the atmosphere. So I had a lot of fun doing that. I had a lot of fun editing it. If I would go back, I would probably redo it the same exact way. Sorry, the chat skipped again. Oh, there we are. Amateur season. Now, sissy that frack. You better sissy that frack. You better. Sinaka, should we replace all of RuPaul's songs with frack and fracking? She released so much. But I have the best hits. I have You Wear It Well. I have Kitty Girls. And I have Sissy That Walk. And Glamazon, of course, you listen to that. Sarah Jenkins says, yes, Euler Chaser is what I can think of as a good replacement. I don't know what you're referring to. I lost it. I'm not following it in real time. Diogo, fracklations. Fracklations. Corinne, Denali took wood to the show? Oh, yes. That's the rumor. Good for her. Luna, welcome, Luna. They're doing siblings watchery. Okay. So we know that. That's good. I will check that out if I have time, because honestly, I don't have time to do anything anymore. Now that we have started with the chop and we will have the episode coming out every week, I will have no free time anymore for anything. So we'll see about that. Lena Clark, by the way, if anyone wants to see Denali ice skating, she has a YouTube video under her boy name, Cordero Zuckerman. Her Bury a Friend choreo was my favorite. Lena, where is... No, I cannot add you from here. How can I do it? Because if you put a link, it doesn't show in the chat, not either to me. So I cannot moderate the comments and say, oh yes, approve this. So maybe put a link, but put like www space, something like that. Then when I see one of your comments in somewhere, I will add you as an approved user. Amateur Season, Denali posting a redone version of her lip sync on actual ice is amazing. I have no doubt that she's amazing. I have no doubt about it. Luna says, I saw some people saying that the girls already knew that they were gonna lip sync right away. Sorry to the girls, pero they are not that good at acting, and those panic faces couldn't be faked. Well, they have to learn all of the songs before. That is for sure. Let's not forget that when they get cast, it works like this. They send the audition tapes. Then based on the audition tapes and a ton of different questions, then they contact some queens. Based on that, they bring in some queens for the psychological evaluation and everything. Once that it's done and they have decided and settled on the cast, they contact these queens, they clear out that they are available for the season, and then they give them the list of the runways, and they give them a list of the song for the lip sync. At least that is my best bet. So they have time to actually learn the lip sync songs. Otherwise, it doesn't explain how the fuck did they know what they had to lip sync to. Okay, I like to go in good faith until I'm proven contrary. Unfortunately, with World of Wonder, that happens all too often. Syria said, "Congratulations, you're the winner of this week's Drag Race video." Oh, I hope so. YouTube already took the video and put it in the trash, because we are getting zero traction on it. It went up for a little while and then that's it. We're not going to hit 1 million views on that video, which is a shame. It took so long and I liked it so much, but it is how it is. Sasha says, I have a theory that everyone from Alexis Michelle's drag family won't have a good edit showing on Drag Race. Alexis herself, Suga, Brita, Jen, Rosé. Well, Sugar Cane had a pretty good edit. The problem is that she had a bland edit. She's also a calm person, you know? And calm person do not make for good reality TV. That's the problem. Sasha is the only notable exception. Amateur Season, I love Brita Filter, a true icon, yes, and a very big name. I was checking Tina Burners on IMDb, and I found out that she has a ton of documentaries, movies, and one has Brita on the cover. So, you know, this is not peanuts. These queens really have to fight for their image on the show. Spyro says, can you imagine living in lockdown and all you can watch is CBS and VH1? That's called a nightmare. That's what nightmares are made of. Lena says, Britta didn't deserve that villain edit. Nobody deserves a villain edit. But Britta made a terrible mistake. She lost control. She got triggered. And you cannot absolutely do that. First, because it's not professional. And second, because if you do this on the show, you know they're going to fuck you over. There is no denying that. So, yeah, I'm sorry as well. But if you know that you get triggered easily, you should not audition for reality TV, or at least go to a therapist. You know, instead of spending a ton of money on outfits, save a little bit of that to go to a therapist so that he can help you not to get triggered so easily. Because if that does happen, it can destroy your whole career. So it's a much better investment than a sickening outfit on the runway, if you ask me. Mrs. G, honey, we understand English. It's not your first language, but I understand perfectly. Thank you. Thank you. Sasha, I have a theory. I read this already. Lady Baconator, Britta and Widow's villain edits were too forced, especially Widow's. Britta, I can understand because they had all the basic materials and then they made it look worse. Widow, there was an episode in which her villain edit came out of nowhere. She didn't do anything. She was just sad that she got a part that she didn't really like. And then they pulled confessionals from other episodes. They pulled the shady noises. They pulled the forced bitch facing. It was, in my opinion, it was really worse. Because there was basically nothing with Widow. There was a little bit going on in episode 1, in which she was absolutely right. And we had one of the main episodes of the shop going on, describing exactly what has happened in episode 1 and how it was edited to make it look like something else. So that Widow could have been portrayed like a complete bitch. And they pulled that and played it like in episode 5. It was awful. It was awful. Sineka, top RPDR videos. I can understand that issue. I am from the U.S. and I still have an accent that not a lot of people understand because I mispronounce stuff and miss words too. You are great. Thank you. Thank you. Well, guys, as long as you can understand me and it doesn't tire your ear too much, that's perfect. Amateur Season says, Britta, Widow, and Jackie are some of the best queens ever. Jackie Cox, we are going, at some point when I have time to edit it in, we are going to have the Jackie Cox Medal of Shade. It will be during award season. And Jackie Cox was, you know, when people say shade, they don't really know what they're talking about. You want to know what shade is? Then watch again season 12 and watch Jackie Cox. Because what she does is shade. And nobody sees it coming. Nobody notices it. You have people saying, oh my God, Jackie Cox, she was so nice. She was so sweet. And I was like, what the fuck? She cut everybody. It was incredible. It was incredible. That's how shade is done. That's how shade is done. And it's been a ton of time since we have a real shady queen on the show. We had some, how can I say, some outspoken queen. We had some rude queen, but shaded something else. Jeppe, welcome to the stream. Fun fact, I thought fracking was commentary by BoJack Horseman on political issues, and I didn't think it was an actual real-life thing until RuPaul was exposed for it. You mean until RuPaul exposed herself? And that's what I find hilarious. That's what I find hilarious. If she shut the fuck up on that night show or whatever it was when she said it, that, oh, a ranch is, you lease the mineral rights, you sell water to oil companies, and if she had shut the fuck up, nobody would be talking about it, because the moment she did that, the people of Frack Tracker tracked down how many wells are on that ranch. So it's completely on her, which is shameful from a person that it's all about creating an image. And hilarious. Luis Felipe, Drag Race actually introduced me to a lot of LGBT iconic songs that I probably wouldn't know if it wasn't for the show. Don't worry, we're going to play some more in here. Because after all, let's face it, if we leave these streams without any kind of copyright or whatever, we make about 50 cents out of it in revenue. So, at this point, who cares? We get to share a nice song and listen to it, and but we cannot monetize. But who cares? Who cares? It's worth the price. It's 50 cents. Syria said, I meant to put Oil Chaser, replacement for RuPaul's song T-Word. I will never say chaser. And Tyler, sir, where are you from? We are from Europe. Somewhere. I'll let you guess, but we'd like to remain anonymous, if it's possible. Fantasia shared a link of Denali ice skating. Thank you, Fantasia. And Tyler, hello, by the way. Hello to you and welcome. You're a little bit late, but I'm happy that we get new viewers. I'm really happy about it. Luis Felipe, I love Tamisha, referring to RuPaul as the lady, the old lady. Sasha, can we talk about the fact that Tamisha said that she was cast for season 12 and wasn't able to go, exposing why Jada got her call a week later? Really? I had no idea about that. I mean, I'm happy about it. Don't get me wrong. That's, when they actually let Jada win, it was the first time someone I was actually rooting for that won. That didn't happen since Bianca Del Rio. And judging by the fact that for this season, the queens that I liked the most was Elliot, and she got a villain edit, or it seems like she got a villain edit. I don't think, I had luck once every 7 years or something. Amateur season. Here are some I frack replacement I thought of. Supermodel, you better frack. I bring the frack. Oh my God. You know what I wish? I wish that we were successful enough that people would actually want to collaborate with us and find someone that can actually sing. Because I have a talent for writing parody songs. It's something that I've always done. Since I was a kid, whenever I would listen to a song, I would parody it on the fly. So it's something that I absolutely love to do. The problem is I cannot sing. I mean, it's hilarious when you think about it, to make a parody of RuPaul fracking and then putting someone who cannot really sing behind it. It has its thing. But, I would like a serious parody, like with someone that can really sing or use autotune, because, it's RuPaul. Luis Felipe, they only see the queens that there's respective archetypes. Yes, on this show you are not a person, you are a character. And RuPaul confirmed that when she made her podcast, the one that Pearl made a parody of. The one that we featured on the video, where she says, I am faking and I would destroy people in their mind in a way they cannot recover from, and so on. She called Pearl a character. So we knew this already, but having tangible proof, something that you can pull up the link and say, oh yes, here is RuPaul herself saying that they are characters. That's an added bonus. Sasha, Jada got a call a week later than the other girls. They talked about it, but all she said was that it was how production works, but now we know the reason why that actually happened. Damn, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about it. I mean, I'm sorry for Tamisha. I mean, I can imagine. Stage 3 is no joke. Absolutely. But, you know, in the end, everything turned out for the better, so thank God. And Tyler, I love your accent. That's something that I never hear, but thank you. You know, I should have played that clip from Violet when she said, nobody says that, but yes. Lena Clark, I love Suga. When I bought merch from her, it shipped a little late, so she included a free pin and the candy. That's so sweet. That's nice, you know. That's how you make business. Not like Vivian Pinay. If you don't know what I mean, then we can talk about it in the Discord with some link. Who am I kidding? Do you guys even know who Vivian Pinay is? Sinaka says to Sasha, I still cannot believe that happened to Jada. And Sasha, imagine season 12 without her. They would have crowned Gigi. No, Crystal. Because, you know, Gigi did whatever she did when the finale was due to airing and so on. So they would have crowned Crystal. Which I have no problem with that as well. Luis Felipe, who are the ultimate shade queens in your opinion? Well... That's really difficult to say. First, because the meaning of shade kind of changed over time, like the meaning of trade changed over time. If you ask by the way I mean it, then definitely Jackie Cox. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Then we have... oh God, I'm starting to forget names. What is it? Only 2 hours? It's been only 2 hours? That's great. Cannot remember her name. Which is great. Well, but if you're thinking about Bianca, I don't think of Bianca as a queen of shade. I know it's a shocker. But the point is, if you watch again season 6, whenever you hear Bianca throwing shade, it's not really shade. It's more like a joke on a genuine suggestion. You know, she gives a genuine suggestion and then she camps it up. She plays about it. She plays on it. But Jackie, I mean, when she did that Folsom thing in the finale, I was blown away. I was completely blown away. I mean, she was incredible. She was really incredible. I cannot think of anyone that reached her level. You can think about Raven, but Raven was just nasty. That was not shade. She was just being rude in her season. And Bianca was being honest, but real shade, maybe Violet from season 7. That got a little bit closer to it, but it's not as refined, you know, like how was she called? Nikki Doll. When she said to Nikki Doll, "Hey Nikki, you were in the bottom last time. What do you think is in the bottom?" It was a joy to watch. It was really a joy to watch. Spyro says, I actually thought Jackie was the shadiest, and when I realized that no one else thought so, I was like, what? Yes, yes. Lena Clark, Kimchi is my favorite shady queen. She gets such a nice edit, but in real life she torments the other Drag Race girls by taking close-up pictures of unglued wigs, outfits, malfunction, etc. Yeah, I noticed that too. Now that you remind me of it, I've seen some things going on with Kimchi. Like on Twitter replies. She's always, has the little thing to add up. Amateur Season said, Elliot, Tamisha, Denali, Utica, Kimura, and Joy are my favorite for this season, and then they all lost their lip syncs. You have a great talent for, you know. Tell me whatever you choose the next time, I will choose the opposite. Luis Felipe, can you imagine Willem releasing a Frack RuPaul parody? I would love that. I would love that. Because Willem is really the queen of parodies. At least the new queen of parodies. The original queen of parodies for me is Sherry Vine. I will always love Sherry Vine. But it cannot compare with the production value that Willem has. Willem has money. And he knows how to make parodies. He knows how to make them, how to sell them. Let's say it like this. Sherry is much more old school from that point of view. Plus, YouTube kind of canned her channel. So whenever she publishes something, YouTube doesn't suggest it anymore. Because she has some excellent parodies that came out during lockdown. And nobody is clicking on them. And they are absolutely hilarious. So I don't know if Willem would do fracking parodies. Because Willem is kind of ambivalent with World of Wonder. Sometimes she calls them out, sometimes she tries to suck up to them. What we know for sure is that a ton of stuff has gone on between her and RuPaul, so if RuPaul has a saying, Willem is not going anywhere next to RuPaul's Drag Race. But World of Wonder is a big business, and Willem is a successful queen, so you never know. You never know. Maybe they decide to produce a new show and they could cast Willem, something that has nothing to do with RuPaul. So I don't know. I don't know. It would be nice though. It's overdue. Let's say it like this. Seneca says, Adelina Clark, yes, Kimchi is my favorite shady queen. And Luis Felipe, you're onto something. Oh, about the fracking parodies. Lena Clark, your eyebrows look so nice when you draw them correctly. Luis Felipe, Vivian Pinay? Where is she being? Lena Clark, Vivian Pinay quit drag, and at least last time I checked, she's a makeup artist. Vivian Pinay has a company who makes, at least, last time I checked, she had that company. And they make princess wigs. And there was something called Wiggate. And if you're interested, I can link it in the Discord. But it was a shit show. It was a prime example of the way you do not conduct your public image and your business. Because remember, it's a business, and sometimes you have to suck it up. You just have to suck it up. You cannot start reacting to people's comments. You cannot start calling out people's comments. You just have to play it nice. That's part of the job. Luna, what's the Jackie Cox tea? I think we already talked about that. Amateur season. The last I saw Vivian was teleported to Mars by Tammy Brown along with Alyssa Summers, and we haven't seen her since. Luna says Vivian may be in Bootleg's Opinions. That's a series, isn't it? On YouTube, isn't it? That's not the first time I hear about that. But then again, since the last month, I've been completely disconnected from everything. So, Beatrice, Vivian Pinay and the Disney Princesses. Yes, yes, somebody knows about it. It was like ages ago. It was ages ago. Syria, Vivian Pinay was half of the first double elimination in Drag Race history with Honey Mahogany. And she also used to do Alyssa's makeup. Yes, she became her makeup artist, I think, for a year after the show aired. And then they parted ways for some reason. Who knows? Who cares? Sineca, Vivian Pinay, I forgot about her. But wow, did not see that coming. Lena Clark says Jackie Cox in season 12 is like Lego in Othello. Sneaking around, stirring up shit. Oh yes, yes, and I lived for every moment of that. During, if you have nothing better to do and you have access to Drag Race, go back to season 12. It was the Untucked when they did the scalping of Aiden Zane. So it's the episode where you have Boo, you know, that episode. Watch the Untucked. It's in the very beginning. You can see Jackie Cox coming out, you know, and starting stirring the pot. And she goes like, so Aiden, you fucked up some lines, but you're here with the top queens, while your partner Britta fuck up some line as well, but she is in the bottom. What do you think about that? And you have Guido going to Jen saying, hit the button, hit the shade button. It was so good. It was good. It was really good. I'm going to include it. When we make the Jackie Cox Medal of Shade, that clip is going in there. Amateur season. If I'm correct, Lala and Tamisha are the first drag mother-daughter pair to compete on the same season. I think that as well. We had some mother-daughters, but in different seasons, like Alyssa and Laganja, and then we had Violet, and what was the name of her drag mother? She used to, I don't know if she still does it, but she used to dress as Storm from the X-Men. She did an incredible look like Storm. She looked exactly like it. I cannot recall the name. But she also went home to a double elimination. Dax, Sasha, yes, Dax. Which they went with Dax exclamation point. I mean, it's Dax with an exclamation point, but you say Dax. But you know, I think it was a way to make her look stupid in a way. I don't know. Lena Clark, oh my god, I want to hear about the princess wigs. That's going to take, we are going to be here until 4 in the morning if we talk about Wiggate. But I can look it up, we can talk about it, why not? The night is still young, we've been on for 2 hours and 20 minutes and it's only 1:20 in the morning. We have time, we definitely have time. Chi-Chi's, welcome to the stream. I thought the first was Vivian Pinay and Alyssa. You're talking about double elimination? No. It was Vivian Pinay and Honey Mahogany in season 5. That was the first double elimination. It was great. Season 5 was great. They did such incredible job in story producing, the editing. Untucked was so silly and over the top, and nobody really believed it, which is the point. But everybody had fun with it because it was clear that it was, fake and for laughs, you know. And all in all, it was such a well-crafted season. A prime example on the height that this show could reach if they would really put the effort to make it go that way. It's one of my favorite season, not my favorite. My favorite is season 2, but it's my partner's favorite. And I think also the first that he saw because of me, because I had to show him. I'm making obsess over the show. I mean, if that's not the meaning of partnership, then I don't know what it is. Luna says, Bootleg Opinions is Yuha review series. Oh, yes, that's where I saw it. Sasha, season 12, episode 5. That's what I was talking before. Thank you for saying it. Season 12, episode 5, Untucked. Go watch it. It's also the episode where Widow magically has a shoot sign when Aiden is speaking. It's the same episode. Syria says, I don't think Vivian was an official House of Edwards member. Me neither. By the way, Laganja left the House of Edwards. I thought my partner saw a video where they talked about it. It was from that guy that I can never recall his name, but he does incredible interviews to the queens and he publishes them on YouTube. I never get to remember his name, but it's great video, great quality video, and the prime example on how you can have a RuPaul's Drag Race related show that has really quality behind it, really quality. It doesn't have to be editing quality all of the time, but the quality of the interviews is really good. They are insightful, they are all around, they are not leading. It's a good show. I appreciate his channel. I really appreciate his channel. Fantasia posted a link for the Discord. Thank you. It's also I also have it as a permanent link in the description, so we have it there. Lena Clark, Yu Hamasaki for All Stars season 54. Damn. Luis Felipe, a lot of people didn't realize Jackie's comments as shade because she made it sound funny, or usually added not trying to be shady before or after the shady comments. Yes, but you know, shade is it's about timing, it's about what you say, it's about the way you say it, it's about the perceived effect of the things that you are saying. It's an all-round concept, you know. That's why it's so difficult to master. And also Jackie had this huge storyline with her mother and so on, which I found kind of boring. The 67th time that she brought it up, I was like, okay, I get it. We have whole parenting issues, so come on. Lena Clark, Dax is a type of punctuation that is a cross between an exclamation point and a question mark, I think. Chi-Chi's, I meant drag mothers and daughters competing in the same season. Yes, we said on the same season, didn't we? Amateur season. I want Serena, Lineisha, and Ivy on All Stars. And on that note, I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Serena Chacha, she is you know, the butt of the joke all of the time in the fandom, continuously. And, you know, it's a good thing in a way because she remains relevant. People remember her. And if you're smart, you take that and turn it into success, since you always have your name on everybody's lips. But Serena, she always has such incredible, expensive, elaborate looks. And she's always the bottom of the joke. You know, she's the one, oh, I read books. Oh, don't I talk ghetto? You know, there's that Untucked where she said, now I speak 3 languages, English, Spanish, and ghetto. And but I think there's a ton of talent behind it. There was a ton of growth behind it. I would like to see her. Ivy, I don't think she would take it, honestly. I don't think they would cast her. She is no drama. She's a nice queen. She likes to do her thing. She lives and let live. I don't think so. I don't think she would take it, the opportunity. Lineisha, I don't know. I completely lost. Lineisha flew completely under the radar for me. I never saw anything related to her. I don't think she's active on social media. I don't know. What I can tell you is that Sasha Bell has an OnlyFans, and it's good. I mean, I'm not subscribed, but for sometimes people sneak things out. Oh my god. So, yes. Sasha Bell. Oh god. Fantasia, season 5, best season ever. I was introduced to Drag Race that year. Yeah, my partner too. Spyro says, speaking of Dax, I think they did Lila dirty and James Mansfield. I think they had plans for James Mansfield. I really think they did. But it looks like when he got on the show, he completely panicked. He completely panicked, and they sent her home. You know, sometimes this happens. You have like 2 or 3 queens that you cast knowing that they are going home in the very first moments of the show. Maybe you don't really know the order, you will decide it on the go, but I don't think James was one of those queens. I think they had to do a huge manipulation of the edit on that season because you had so many things who went wrong. James, who panicked. Then you had Valentina that didn't know the words to a lip sync, and there's no editing around that. Then you had Eureka that had to go home because she injured herself. It was such a strange season and such a strange transition to VH1. Fantasia, which season did everyone start watching? For me, it was season 2. What a great season to begin with. So real. So, how can I say? Raw. It was really raw. Lena says, I started watching from season 1. Yes, I'm old. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. I'd go to my friend's house after school in high school to watch Logo. Chi-Chi's, I also think Roxy Andrews is my drag aunt from Drag Mom Size. Amateur season. I started watching on season 2, but the first season I watched as it was airing was season 9. Fantasia, yes, Joseph Shepard. I always forget his name. He does incredible interviews. Incredible. Spyro says, season 2, I can already hear the grave calling unless RuPaul leases the cemetery. Oh God, Syria, I was first exposed. I like the way you phrased it. I was first exposed. You make it sound like a sexual thing, you know. I was exposed. I was exposed to Drag Race through Drag U. You watched Drag U? That's incredible. Nobody ever watched Drag U. I think I checked out 2 episodes and thought, oh my God, this is boring. Drag U was such a bad misfire, like really bad. They had to shut it down. Nobody was watching it. They didn't understand that the real, once you have the gays and the queers and the lesbians and the trans and the gender fuck, and once you have all of this, let's face it, small population of viewers, if you want to expand, then you have to find new kind of viewers, you know. And they thought it's going to be older straight women when they did Drag You, and they completely fucked it up. They didn't understand that it was going to be young women, because when you go to the market and take a look at it, a good 60% of the fandom is people under 21, 22 years old. And of that chunk, a good 60 to 70% is female. So they didn't understand that. They didn't get it. They had to wait for VH1 to come in and say, listen, this is your target audience. Do you understand? This is your target audience. Syria continues. First episode I watched was Willem Disqualification, but the first season I watched entirely was season 6. Lena Clark, oh my God, I remember Drag You. You have incredible memory. Spyros, don't talk about that. Amateur Season says, Serena has some amazing looks. She has grown so much since her season. I completely agree. And she also had, I think, a business online. She was selling wigs, and she was incredibly professional about it. Like the opposite of Vivian. Like the opposite. Luis Felipe says, except for Serena, quote is getting tiring. Well, so many quotes are getting tiring. But, you know. Amateur season, I don't remember Drag You. Oh, lucky you. Lucky you. We're all trying to forget it, and we keep getting reminded of it. Syria, I think we all remember Serena except for Serena and Detox saying, I've had it officially. I also think Ivy stopped doing drag, and there's a farm. What is she doing on that farm? Beatrice says, yes, Ivy quit drag and lives on a farm now. Well, that's a pity. I mean, if she's happy, that's all that matters. But for the drag scene, well, that's a huge loss. That's a huge loss. You know, queens that can make good outfits with their own hands, it's something that's getting really rare. Fantasia, someone posted Titties in a Box, song by Jimbo. Who has seen the video? I didn't see it. Can you believe I still didn't catch up to Drag Race Canada? Still. My partner watched it, I didn't. Lena Clark said, Drag U was really fun. I liked the little old school drag tips that they taught, like using milk of magnesia to keep the face from sweating. You know, the only thing I remember for Drag U was that bit that Raven did with Jujubee. Like, Jujubee went to Raven and said, you had my ring, you have my ring. And Raven says, seriously? Really? I think it's mine, but if you say that, yes, it's mine. Then she gives her the ring, and Jujubee says, well, it's mine, bitch. That's the only thing I remember from Drag U. Amateur season, except for Drag You, girl, that really was a rough spot. Throwback to season 7. Seneca, I started by the first season with my mom. That's incredible. I mean, my mother doesn't even speak English, so I cannot picture it, seeing it with my mom. I would love it. Chichi says, I have a wig from Zariza. Oh my god. From Zariza. I have a wig from Serena. She's amazing. Luis Felipe, season 2 gave us the first quotes, the first Snatch Game, the first Rounded Villain edit, the first Untucked. Too many firsts to look. Yes, when you look back, you can definitely identify marks in the evolution of the show. So you have basically this season 1. Season 1 is a promo. It's just to see if it works. Then you have that period of time that I called Classic Drag Race, which is my favorite. And it goes from season 2 to season 6. So it's still the same exact show, but you just see it evolving and doing whatever, figuring out what it does good and doing it. Then you have a transitional season with season 7 where they start pushing more boundaries. Season 7 is really fucked up in a good way, but it's really fucked up. Then you have season 8 in which they did a course correction from season 7, and then you have the VH1 period from season 9 to today, where we basically have kind of a different show, if you will. Still a good show, in my opinion. Could be much better. They should rely less on shock value and editing the shit out of everyone. It could be better. I'm not denying it, but it's still, in a way, it's still the best queer show in television. You know, before Drag Race, all we had were this stupid show portraying stereotypes of what a queer person is. And while I can understand it historically, that it was a way to kind of introduce us to the mainstream, and even if it's stereotyping, well, at least people start acknowledging you, they start to maybe even like you, so it has a sense from an historical point of view. But a real show that would really bring our stories, it's Drag Race. Nobody else really did it the way Drag Race did it. And that's why it's, from my point of view, an historical show in the history of queer people and drag into mainstream. I have no doubt about it. Lena says, Ivy seems super happy living with her farm life. Her Instagram is very cute, lots of pictures of her with her plants. I'd like to check it out. I have to check it out. It's been a lot of time since I got an update on Ivy. Spyros, all I remember from Drag You is, oh, Revan, you never learn. Oh, yes, that's the bit. That's the bit that I was saying before. Syria, I still watch Drag Race to this day with my mom. You are so lucky. You are so lucky. You know? I mean, my parents are really accepting. They've always been really accepting. I have no problem from that perspective, you know? But I don't think my mother would really understand drag, you know? She was the kind of woman who had such lack of understanding that when I came out to her, she asked me, so you want to become a woman? So I had to sit her down and give her the talk, you know, and explain that gender identity is different from orientation and so on and so on. It was so cute, you know? She had like this big eyes. Lena Clark, Lenny Bunny with those giant wigs blew my little child mind. Yeah, Lady Bunny is still hysterical. But you know, she's old school. She's old school. Some people like it, most of the people don't. But I like her political engagement. I mean, when she published that picture with basically MacDonald T, can I say the word? In a wig, saying, welcome to the stage to Miss Anita Recount. She's incredible. I love Lady Bunny. Dixie, it seemed like that time of spirit. What a lovely human being. I can imagine her being happier in that time, in that type of environment. Oh, you're talking about Ivy. Seneca, my mom and I still watch Drag Race still to this day, and we are watching season 13 together. She thinks I'm a bit crazy with my thinking, but we spend time together, and that's a good thing. Oh. And he continues, my mom and I use slang and lines from Drag Race. It's kind of cute. Drag Race getting families together. Yes, Louis, yes. Seneca, she understands a bit of drag, but she's still learning more about drag and all. And we love that. Drag Race is just another subject that my mom and I talk about it all of the time. Well, it's nice to hear the stories of, you know, of acceptance in a way. Because I know that times are changing and we are generally getting a better quality of life as queer people, which also includes sharing, you know, part of your life, part of your entertainment with your family. I mean, when I was young, the best thing you could hope for was understanding parents, you know? Parents that would say, well, if that's what makes you happy, then I guess we'll have to work with it. You know, that's the best. But, you know, thankfully times are changing, and so you can start doing things like that. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. I'm not complaining at all. Okay. Almost 3 hours. We are done with the comments. If you have any questions, now it's your moment. Because after this, I'm going to smoke a cigarette and then I'm going to go to bed. Because it's almost 2 in the morning here. So I'll have some of my energy drink while the chat synchronizes a little bit. What am I doing? I need to go to bed. I should drink water. Let's drink water. Spyros, To the Moon and Frack by Anita Recount. P.S. Watching Drag Race with your parents is actually cool. Yes, it is. It is. Sineka, oh my god, get some rest. You know, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Following that, every time we do the chop for a main season, because it's not that hard when it's All Stars. We don't do the confessional chart for All Stars. It's really a ton of work. And when I say a ton of work, it's not because I want your empathy. It's because I want to make you understand that it's that kind of work that you need to be exercised for, you know, because you start in the morning and a ton of things have to be done and finished by Saturday. Absolutely. And then on Saturday, you need to stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning, because otherwise I will fall asleep on Sunday. Because where I am from, the stream starts at 11 p.m. and goes on until sometimes 2, 3 in the morning. If we are spending a lot of time talking and chit-chatting. So you actually have to physically prepare you for doing this, because then Sunday arrives. Hopefully you wake up a little bit later, like 10, 11, if you're really lucky, if you manage to go to bed like 4 or 5 in the morning. Maybe 3. And then there is all the work to be finished. And the idea would be to be finished by 5 p.m. on Sunday, so that then I can rest a little bit, chill out, and have dinner, not think about anything, and then be relaxed for the stream and have everything prepared. So I have to get used a little bit, which means that probably I won't have time for editing videos. Maybe if it's something really important, I will cut a piece of videos and put it there. But then there is the video to be made for the chop, because then again, a lot of people would enjoy to actually watch this kind of show, because let's face it for a moment, there is not another show that deals with editing and what's going on behind the scenes like we do anywhere. So there is a ton of people who would be happy to discover it. The problem is that when they see in the suggestions 3-hour live streams with me basically sometimes tired, sometimes crazy, it's difficult to follow. They don't follow it. So we need the videos, which means that during the week, whatever time I have free, it needs to go in the video. It's going to be crazy this season, but I'll try to be as punctual as I can. So let's read the last comments and then we go. Lena Clark, go to bed. Dixie, will you be adopting new little ones in the near future? My partner asked me already, but it's been a month and a week, and I still haven't cleaned the cage, So I guess so. I want to take time to mourn. It's not like I am sad all of the time. I am not. I have a good relationship with death. So it hits you hard when it comes, but it's part of the journey. So it's okay. But I think that somehow it would be disrespecting. I need to let it sink in a little bit. But yes, we will. We will definitely will. I don't know when. Couple months, 2, 3 months, 4 months. I mean, we have a huge habitat that, and I like working on it. I like building new things. I was thinking about new floors. I was thinking about building a little house on the tree, I was thinking of building a ton of things. I will probably never find the time because, the channel is already absorbing all of my free time. But that's something that I want to do before we get new mice. But if we get them, when we get them, yeah, sure. I'll come on stream and show you a picture. Sineka says, it's only 7:43 where I live. Well, good for you. PM. It's almost time for dinner, isn't it? Spyros, it's almost 3 a.m. here. Damn. Go to sleep. Fantasia, see you next week, everyone. This is like the earliest chop season. Dixie, your hard work is very much appreciated, and the season would not be the same without the chop. I'm really happy that you are liking it. Fantasia, I think if you added the chop up, more people will listen because it's shorter. Yes, what I realized, it's also that it's much easier to redo the voiceover than going through a 3-hour stream looking for things to cut out. So that's something, I'm already optimizing it in my mind before I even start doing it. Lena, I would go insane if I couldn't come here and see other people frustrated by the same bullshit that frustrated me in the show. I can relate to that. Lena, you are so relatable. Let me tell you that. You're so relatable. Sineka, the amount of hard work you put in is much appreciated. And I agree with Dixie full-heartedly. Thank you. Thank you. Jeffrey, here late, but starting the stream from the beginning. Happy to be back in business and see you next week. Of course, for sure. We'll be here. I hope you get the notifications because, it is how it is. But we are always here on Sunday. We're always here on the same time. So even if you don't get the notification, you know that we're here. Fantasia, also, has anyone watched Trinity's competition show? It's on YouTube on her page. No, I didn't watch it. Sineka, see you next week, and also take the time you need to mourn. Thank you. I had that little bit in the video. I know that some might think that it comes off as I don't know, as not genuine, but you have to understand that bit at the end of the video dedicated to Marble, it's not for you guys, it's for my partner. That's for him. He always comes back and watches it. I catch him doing that. I know that, it helps. So that's why it's there. Spyros, thank you for the entertainment and insight to one of our favorite shows. Have a good night to everyone in Europe. The rest have a nice evening, I think. CDP, I started watching season 1 after a bad argument I got with an homophobic priest. And it was from episode 1 of season 1. Thank you everyone for coming. It's been fun. I hope we get this going and that I can stick to the schedule. Other than that, thanks for coming. Remember, share the video. If you can tip us, and upvote, leave a comment, whatever it is, we thank you. And I'll see you next Sunday. So have a good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. See you next time. Bye-bye, guys.